It's just 9 digits. But think about it. That one number is pretty much the key to your entire financial life, your benefits, your whole identity. It's really the backbone of how our society works. But what if that whole system was just completely compromised? Well, a brand new whistleblower complaint suggests that it might have been. It honestly sounds like the plot of a Hollywood blockbuster, right? But this is the question at the very heart of a shocking whistleblower complaint that's making waves in Washington. A complaint that seriously raises the possibility that the answer to this terrifying question could actually be yes. So here it is, the core allegation. According to a formal complaint, a former government software engineer told his colleagues he had copied two of the nation's most sensitive, most restricted databases onto, you guessed it, a personal thumb drive. And the alleged plan? To take that data with him to his new job in the private sector. Now, to really grasp how serious this is, we need to be crystal clear about what data we're actually talking about here. This isn't just some list of names. We're talking about the digital DNA of the entire country. That's the number. We are dealing with over 500 million records. These two databases hold the personal information for pretty much every American who has ever had a Social Security number, both living and deceased. It's just a staggering amount of data. Okay, so the first database is called Numbident. You can think of it as the master file, the absolute source of truth for every single Social Security number ever issued. It's got your full name, your exact date and place of birth, your parents' names. These are the foundational facts of who you are. And the second one is the death master file. This database is absolutely crucial for preventing fraud. See, when someone passes away, this file is what tells banks, credit agencies, and the government, hey, don't issue any more payments or credit in this person's name. It's a really key defense against identity theft. So here's the bottom line. When you put these two databases together, they form the bedrock of identity verification in the United States. Applying for a loan, opening a bank account, getting healthcare, it all comes back to the integrity of this information. So how could it possibly end up on a thumb drive? Well, the answer seems to point to a really secretive government task force that had unique, and I mean unique, access to this data. Now, the engineer at the center of all this didn't actually work for the Social Security Administration directly. No, he was part of this controversial unit called the Department of Government Efficiency, or get this, DOGE. DOG's official mission was to hunt down and cut wasteful government spending. To do that, it put teams of tech experts inside federal agencies to dig through their data. But right from the start, its operations were shrouded in secrecy, which, you can imagine, started raising some serious red flags about who was watching them and how they were handling America's most sensitive info. And this image, wow, it really gives you a sense of just how weird the whole setup was. According to a Senate report, the DOGE team at the Social Security headquarters worked in a completely separate wing protected by armed guards. SSA officials themselves described this as unusual, which is quite the understatement. They were effectively walled off from the very people they were supposed to be helping. And here's what's so important. This thumb drive allegation didn't just come out of thin air. It was actually the latest in a string of really serious warnings about how DOG was handling data. Let's rewind a bit to August of 2025. That's months before this latest complaint ever surfaced. The Social Security Administration's very own chief data officer, a man named Charles Borges, came forward with his own deeply disturbing claims. So Borges alleged that DOGEs had already copied the entire Numbident database, all 500 million plus records, and moved it into a custom cloud server he called vulnerable. His warning was stark. This new environment had absolutely no verified security oversight from the agency, and that officials tied to DOGs had just pushed the approval through against the advice of their own security experts. And get this. The agency's own internal risk assessment of the project was just jaw-dropping. It calculated that the chance of a data breach with a, quote, catastrophic adverse effect was somewhere between 35 and 65%. That is an unbelievably high risk for a system this critical. And here it is. This is the actual document we're talking about. You can see it right there. The agency's own form flagged this project as a high risk if the proper security controls couldn't be met. And according to the whistleblower, they weren't. Okay, so we've got this pattern of really risky behavior, and it's followed by this explosive new allegation. So the big question is, where do things stand today?
So on one hand, you have the whistleblower's account that an engineer literally walked out the door with the nation's identity records to take to a new job. But on the other hand, you have flat-out denials. The engineer's lawyer says he did nothing wrong, his new company says their own review found nothing, and the Social Security Administration's official line is that it's not aware of any compromise.
Now, even with all these denials, you better believe these allegations were taken seriously enough to kick off multiple high-level investigations. The SSA's own Inspector General has opened a case. The Government Accountability Office is doing a huge review of DOG's data access across all agencies, and key members of Congress are demanding a full, independent probe into what really happened. And why is everyone taking this so seriously? Well, because the stakes are almost impossible to imagine. A Senate report that was investigating DOJ's activities really captured the ultimate fear. It quoted a source who warned that in a worst-case scenario, the agency might have to reissue Social Security numbers to everyone. Just think about that for a second. The entire financial system, healthcare, government benefits, everything would just grind to a halt. It would be a catastrophic disruption to the economy and to the life of every single American. It would take years of what one data breach victim called endless explaining just to try and fix it all. And that brings us right back to the fundamental question. Whether these specific allegations turn out to be true or not, they have exposed a massive vulnerability. Your digital identity is one of this nation's most critical assets. And this whole affair leaves us with one really crucial thing to think about. Who exactly should we be trusting to guard it?